Chapter 11. Brooke.
When I woke up, I was alone. I looked around and backed up against the wall, but there was no wolf in the camper. "Peter?" I said to the emptiness. My voice cracked from all the screaming I had done the night before. I heard shuffling outside as he came to the door. Peter, as a human, came in holding a canteen of water, a plate of food, and a rag. He set the food beside me and poured water on the rag before setting the canteen down as well. "Can I?" he asked, gesturing toward my face. I nodded, unsure of what he meant. He scrubbed my face clean, never looking me in the eye. His eyes were so pure and green, they had stayed exactly the same when he was a wolf. When he pulled the rag back, I saw the blood on it. "This isn't your blood," Peter stated, looking me over for injuries. I shook my head. "No, it isn't. I bit the man that tried to keep me quiet." He nodded as if this were to be expected and turned around to leave. "Was it real?" I asked him. He paused by the door but didn't turn around to face me. His head moved up and down slowly. "Does it hurt?" I asked, unsure of what to say next. He turned around and furrowed his eyebrows. "Does what hurt?" "When you turn into a wolf. Does it hurt?" I clarified. He shook his head. "It didn't hurt last night. Every other time I've turned, it hurt when I tried to fight it. I don't remember anything after the initial fight, though. I never have before." "You don't remember being a wolf?" I asked. "No. I wake up as a human and learned what happened and what I did as a wolf," he stated. "What you did?" He looked down and breathed slowly, in and out. "I killed people before. I don't remember it, but I woke up in the woods and learned they were dead because of me." The pain on his face made me want to cross the space between us and hug him, but he was like a beautiful forest bird. I knew that if I moved too quickly or came on too strong, I would scare him away. It was a miracle that he had stayed beside me through the night. "Then it's not your fault," I reasoned. "If you don't have control over it, then how can you hold yourself responsible?" "Because it's still me that did it. If it weren't for me, for this curse, they would still be alive." His voice broke in pain and his body shuddered. He looked like he was in pain right then. "You didn't kill those men last night," I argued. "That proves that you're good. If anyone deserved to die, it was them. But you let them go." He scoffed. "I only did that for you. If you hadn't stopped me, I would have killed them both. I'm honestly still tempted to." "But you won't," I said. I meant it as a question, but it came out more like a command. "No, Brooke, I won't," he assured me. I nodded, thankful for his promise. "That's why you live out here? So if you turn into the wolf, no one will see?" "And I won't hurt them," he clarified. "It doesn't matter to me if they see or if they know. I don't want to hurt anyone. That's my real fear." This boy was just as broken as I was. I could meet him in this moment of vulnerability with my own honesty. After all, that had been our deal. "I'm homeless," I admitted. It sounded weird coming out of my mouth. "Millie and I got kicked out of the apartment yesterday, and I have to be there at 4 today to claim our things." His body sagged, obviously thankful we were moving the conversation away from him. The pain left his rugged face. "Who is Millie?" he asked, taking a seat on the bed beside me. "My little sister," I explained. "She's 10. Our gran used to take care of us, but she died a couple of months ago. I've been trying to get a job, but no one wants to hire me. I can't even count the number of interviews I've been on since she passed, but I haven't been called back once." His eyes looked sad. "What about your parents? Where are they?" I groaned. "My mom is an addict. I got in a fight with her at the homeless shelter last night, so they threw me out. She won't help us, and I don't know who my dad is, or Millie's. I assume they're different guys with so many years between us." "Where is Millie right now? Is she okay?" Tears filled my eyes at his concern. I had wanted my mom to ask those questions so badly. I fruitlessly waited for it to come out of her selfish mouth. She hadn't noticed Millie's absence from my side. But Peter noticed it. Peter noticed everything. "I've been sending her to a different friend's house every night this week. Their parents feed her and give her a safe place to stay, but I can't keep that up. School starts on Monday, and people will start to notice. I explained. You could both stay here, he offered, but even as he said it, I could sense his uncertainty. He barely made things work for himself, and I couldn't risk him hurting Millie if he turned, no matter how safe I felt around him. She was the most important thing. We can't all three stay in this small space, I reasoned, and Millie needs a real house to stay in. She's so young. She needs some semblance of normal. Brooke, why don't you tell people what's happened and ask for help? He asked. Don't they have resources for children in your situation? It was an innocent question, but I took it personally. I can't do that to her, I said. They'll put us in the foster system. What if they separate us? What if they put her with someone cruel and I can't protect her? They could put her with a nice family, with a nice house who feeds her nice food, he argued. It could be really good for her. And you. I shook my head violently. No, I won't do it. No, 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 no. I was spiraling, remembering the family I was put with at age 6 before Graham was contacted to be my guardian. They were not a nice family with a nice house who fed me nice food. I felt his hands on my shoulders, bringing me back. Okay, you don't have to. I only want you to be taken care of. I want you to consider every option, he whispered, as if he was afraid of breaking me. I nodded and took in a shaky breath. Light entered his eyes as he grabbed my hand and led me out of the camper. I grabbed my plate with the other hand. Where are we going? I asked, taking my hand back to eat as I followed him through the woods. It didn't matter, though. I would follow him anywhere. To Mr. Atkins' house, he said. He can help. If anyone can help, he can. At the mention of his house, images from that night flashed through my mind. Jeff's sweaty face over mine, Peter carrying me through the woods, Mr. Atkins holding my hand as I bit down on his leather belt, hearing Holly laughing in the tent. I stuffed my face with my fresh-caught breakfast and did my best to keep up with him, trying to focus on only the good memories from that night. Peter had saved me. Mr. Atkins had helped. Maybe he could help again. Mr. Atkins looked like he had been napping when he opened the door for us. He smiled at me and nodded at Peter before opening the door to let us in. The living room was different from the last time I had been there. Even though it was just as cluttered as before, it looked better with the natural light streaming through the curtain-lined windows. It wasn't as scary. I could hear the chug of the washing machine down the hallway, making it feel like a home. You look like you're feeling better, he said, pointing at my wrapped arm. It had been feeling much better before being attacked last night. I hoped it hadn't set me too far back in the healing process. I forced those thoughts down and smiled anyway. Yes, sir, I am. What can I do for you kids? He asked, eyes bouncing to Peter. Peter's muteness returned. I wanted him to be the one to ask. After all, he was the one who was friends with the man. I let several silent seconds pass before I finally spoke up. I need a job, sir, I said as plainly as I could. Peter thought you might be able to help. His face scrunched up, making his wrinkles more pronounced. Me? How could I help? Peter still didn't speak. I wanted to punch him. Do you know anyone who could help me get a job? A business owner, maybe? Someone you have some connection with or influence over? I suggested, trying to guess what Peter was thinking in bringing me here. He seemed so sure that Mr. Atkins would have a solution. He scoffed. No. No one cares about what I have to say about anything. I seemed to have hit a nerve, but I didn't know what to say or do to avoid hitting them. Okay. What about you, sir? Could you hire me? What? Hire you for what? He asked, balling up his fists. I looked around wildly and gestured to the room around us. To clean? I could tidy up. No. Good day, he said, walking to the door to let us out. I looked at Peter in despair, begging him with my eyes to help. He looked as confused and let down as I was. Please, sir, I begged. I need to find a way to make money. I'm willing to do anything short of selling my body, and I'm not even exaggerating. Why? So you can buy drugs? He asked, opening the door. He held it out for us to leave, but we stayed in place. He didn't seem concerned with letting the cool air out or letting the mosquitoes in. He stood there and stared us down, commanding us to leave with his gray-blue eyes. Instead of protecting myself with anger, I melted into sadness. There was no hope to be found here. Don't talk to her like that, Peter finally piped up. You don't know her or her situation. Both of our attention shot to him, as if we had forgotten he was there. The old man pursed his lips together. Fine. You're right. That was out of line. I'm sorry. Why do you need money, then? It's for my sister, I explained. We got kicked out of our apartment yesterday, and we have nowhere to stay. I need to make enough money to get back in, or to find a new one. She's only 10, sir. She can't be homeless. She's so young. I'm all she has, and I don't know what else to do." My voice broke, and the tears started falling, but I wasn't ashamed of them. After all, Mr. Atkins had seen me cry before. My face was in my hands as I sobbed, but I heard him shut the door and walk toward me. Peter came closer too, as if ready to attack and defend me again. "Sweetheart, I'm sorry, but there's no way I could pay you enough for you to afford an apartment. And I don't know anyone else who could," he stated, putting his shaky hand on my shoulder. "I don't know how I could be any help to you." "You said to come and ask if I needed help," Peter began. I stopped crying to listen to him speak. "I never did. I appreciate everything you did, I really do, but I didn't ask for it. I am now. I'm asking. I need help, Mr. Atkins. I need you to help Brooke and her sister. Please." I could tell that it was a special moment for them. Mr. Atkins' face transformed as he took in Peter's words. "Charles," he said. I looked up at him through my blurry eyes. "What?" I asked. His hand was still on my shoulder. "You can both call me Charles. If you want to clean my house in exchange for a room, you and your sister can stay in the sewing room," he said. I stopped breathing. "It isn't much," he warned. "There's only a twin bed in there, but if you want it, it's yours." I wrapped my arms around him. "Thank you," I said. "I don't know what to say." He patted my back and stepped out of my hug. He nodded and walked down the hallway. I looked at Peter in confusion, and he pointed for me to follow him. "See? It isn't much," Mr. Atkins said as he opened the door to the room for me and Millie. "She used it for sewing and thought we needed a guest bed in here, but I don't know if anyone ever used it. You'll definitely need to put clean sheets on it first. Those have probably been sitting there for years." The room was stale and dusty, but I didn't mind for a second. I knew Millie and I could share the twin bed. The room would be plenty big enough for us. "It's 3:00, Peter announced from the living room. "Crap, I've got to go. I'll be back with Millie later," I assured him. "But thank you so much. This is fantastic." "You got a date or something?" he joked, pushing his glasses up on his nose. I smiled. "No, my old landlord, said we could come back for our things at 4. I have a getaway bag packed already that I need to grab, and then we'll head back. She should be back from her friend's house around 4 too." He walked wordlessly to his room and grabbed a pair of keys. "Take my car," he explained. "You'll be able to get more of your stuff. And take this," he said, handing me a $100 bill from a scuffed leather wallet. "We need some more groceries. Get food you girls will like. I'll eat anything." I could have kissed him. "Hurry," he said, "and don't even think about taking my car and running away with my Benjamin." I chuckled. "I wouldn't dream of it, Mr. Charles." He nodded once, briskly. God was still listening to me. He sent me 2 angels to help me, and their names were Peter and Charles.